Hey, so I'm trying something a little different here. This is an idea I've wanted to do for over a year now, but I figured it was way too dumb, and I had no idea if anyone would ever watch it. And then I realized that describes most of my challenges, so I figured it's finally time. Should I do the intro just to make this whole thing feel less weird? Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Oblivion while doing the thing? Good enough. While I walk around town, here's what I want to do. I want to try and beat all of the main story of Oblivion while we have a chameleon effect of 100%. I'll probably also just mess around a ton just to see what happens. This is basically just a fun experiment. Here's the wiki entry. Basically, chameleon is invisibility that isn't as strong, but keeps you invisible even while you're interacting with stuff, including while attacking. A chameleon effect of 100% basically just makes you fully invisible. Normally, you'd use a spell for this, but if you enchant it onto some gear, then as long as you're wearing it, you'll be invisible. I have no idea of any way to do this early in the game naturally, although I'm sure some of you Oblivion experts already know a way. But what would happen if I hacked in some gear that made me invisible from the very start of the game? Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I legit have no idea if this is possible. For all I know, I'll get like 10 minutes in and some NPC I need to interact with will just never see me and never open a door I need or something. I fully suspect something like that is probably gonna happen. Let's explain the rules. I've gotta be invisible. That's about it. Like, subscribe, and comment if you want more. Let's do this. Alright, so for shoot, I legit have no idea how to become invisible. My theory was to use the console to get some gear that has 100% chameleon. But I don't know how. So first I asked my friend Nerbit. You might know him from his Fallout challenges. Anyway, he knows way more about the console commands than I do, so he came in clutch. He says that I need to use this console command to spawn in some sigil stones that give us bonuses to raise our level, and then we could hack in 4 sigil stones, apply them to my gear, then use the console to level up until I reach 100% chameleon. I love that idea because I hardly get to reach high levels in these Oblivion challenges, so you never really get to see the new kinds of enemies that appear at high levels. Maybe now we'll see some of them. My stats and skills might end up being way too low by leveling up that way, but I'm invisible, so I don't really think fights are gonna be an issue. I mean, I don't think so. That's kind of what this run is about though, just to see what happens. Before we travel out into the world, I guess I still need to create a character. I ended up making a custom class and just taking some skills that I thought would be fun for messing around with. I'm not really worried about leveling up, so I just want my major skills to be ones that I use a lot so that they level quickly. Stuff like acrobatics and athletics for better movement, and some schools of magic that could be fun for messing around. I made sure my character is magically inclined, and we're playing as a high elf, just so it's a little bit easier to have some fun with spells. I figured being invisible while messing around with illusion magic could be really fun. So right away, I put in the console command he told me to try, and I think I'm doing something wrong. Alright, I looked it up. I have to use the word player first. Now we have them. I go ahead and apply their bonuses to our starting prisoner gear. Hey, why are the sandals called sackcloth sandals? How do you make sandals out of cloth? Anyway, it turns out we don't even have to level up for this to work, although I'll probably still level anyway. I mean, if I get a chance. Check it out. As long as we're dressed like a prisoner, we're totally invisible. Let's go have some fun. So the first thing I do is go wandering to find a dungeon. I want to fight something. It's kind of crazy that I can't see my character's hands while I'm casting spells. It even took me a little while to realize I had my sword out while I was exploring, since, you know, that's invisible too. So I found Fort Carmala, some kind of vampire crypt. The very first enemy I fought was a vampire, so he turned invisible. He must have been doing his own challenge too. I think he's trying to fight me, but I'm just running around flailing my sword until he goes down. Kinda hard to aim when you can't see your own sword. The skeleton in the same room just flat out didn't react to being attacked. It's funny, it seems like every enemy has their own way of reacting to being hit by something that's completely invisible. This other vampire just kinda did this. Okay, enough of that. You know what we really need to do? We need to start messing around with the town. Robbing stores blind, attacking people, just seeing how the world reacts to us. The first place I hit up is this archery store, and the guy behind the counter keeps looking at me, no matter where I am in the room. I started messing around with his stuff, and he didn't really react. He just kinda kept unbroken eye contact and followed me around, smiling. How do you like that one? All right, how about this one? But do you have a problem with this? No? All right, this dude even followed me upstairs. Guess he can hear me. Or like, sense me? But he's just okay with it. Guess this guy is just very pro-ghost. All right, this guy's creeping me out. I'm gonna go rob someone else. The Castle of Bravel looks like a fun place to mess around with. So I start looking around the place for loot. I figure there's gotta be good weapons in here. That's when I saw it, the display cases. There's some good stuff in here. I don't know about you, but I've wanted to break into these quite a few times, but never really went out and did it. Well, after an embarrassing amount of failed tries at the lock, I got it open, and it's a total dud. Outside of the silver weapons, the rest are all just ornamental. Man, what a bust. So I go around the rest of the place looking for loot, breaking into room after room, but there's just nothing good in this place. I noticed that the NPCs in here don't treat us at all like the shopkeeper did, by the way. They usually don't look at us at all, but I swear once in a blue moon I catch them peeking at us from the corner of my eye. It's really creepy. Okay, this place is a bust. Hey, what happens if I hit the count? So I'm gonna fast forward this, but he ended up spending the entire minute just kinda running around the whole castle. Sometimes it looked like he was trying to get back to his throne, but he'd get stuck on his guard. Sometimes he'd run up the stairs and I'd hear him going through doors into other areas before coming back and running around some more. I spent entire minutes, he never came back to his throne. I tried talking to him, but he just wouldn't. Weirdly enough, I could talk to the guard just fine though, and he didn't think anything was wrong. This playthrough is gonna be awesome, isn't it? I gotta go try the arena next. Okay, so in the arena, you have to wear the armor that they supply, but by enchanting a bunch of my rings and my helmet and my shield with Chameleon, we're able to stay totally invisible while entering the arena. How they can see me in the first place to know that I'm wearing the right gear, I have no idea, but here we are. The fight is kind of interesting. At first, I stayed back to see what our opponent would do. She kind of runs around and then stops and stares off for a while before doing it again. Sometimes it seems like she knows where we are, but she never actually swings at us. When I decided to start attacking, she doesn't move, but the crowd goes crazy. We actually did just about no damage, so I ended up breaking my sword during the fight and had to punch her down. I probably really need a new weapon. Let's hit up the Imperial Market. Honestly, I don't find much. I found a decent axe, but that's about it. Man, I was really hoping for more, but I guess better stuff doesn't really spawn until you're a higher level. Alright, well, let's go do the first Oblivion gate. So there's a few things I want to test here. How enemies react, if they look at us, and what traps do. First of all, the enemies here seem to react like the skeletons near the start of the run, just kind of ignoring us while we hit them. It doesn't seem like anyone here looks at us either. Before coming into the gate, I had one NPC who was supposed to run up to us and talk to us, who never talked to us, but another who did. I wonder if plot-important characters always know where we are for the purpose of talking, but can't actually see us for combat. Alright, check out what happens when I enter the tower with the key.
You should not be here!
So, the kidnapped guard yells out for help. The Daedra could see us and threaten us, but then totally ignored us as soon as we finished talking. Honestly, I was worried that characters like this would just never talk to us. This gives me hope that we can actually win the run. The last thing that I tested here was pickpocketing the magic users. These guys are all hostile, so I figured they wouldn't just yell thief if I got caught, and I'm right. The weird thing is, they never got alerted. I can fail a pickpocket and then just keep trying over and over without them panicking in any way. I figured they'd at least run away. Alright, well, that's it for this place. Let's move on. Naturally, Wayne and Priory is pretty normal. They talk to us like they can see us and then suddenly won't look at us when the conversation is done. Hey, do you think that Boris in the sewers is going to be able to see us? He might need to so that he can escort us. Let's just get through this ceremony.
Hail, Dragonborn! Hail, Hail!
Your Highness.
Hey, the bar fight is next, right? The one where I need to lure a guy into the basement? Maybe I should just attack him in the bar, that'd be fun. Last time I did that, I think I had to pay a fine for murder. So I walk in, don't talk to Boris, and just attack the guy who I know is secretly evil through the magic of having played this game before. Last time I took this guy out in the middle of the bar, I had to pay some tiny fine to the guards for murder, but this time, not only did I not have to pay, but because all the bar owner saw was this guy get up and start fighting Boris, he joined in to help us take him down. Weirdly enough, the barkeep just kept staring at us as we walked around the room, like he knew I was there, but talking to him didn't make him panic about me murdering a guy. Maybe shopkeepers just home in on us, even if they can't see us. Hey, it's book collection time. I usually just skip showing you this nowadays since there's no combat, but we can have some fun with this. Normally, we go into the bookstore, the owner says that the only copy of the book we want is reserved, and we wait for the guy to pick it up and then convince him to give it to us. This time, though, I just took it. It was in a locked chest in the back of the room. The bookkeeper watched me do it, but I talked to him, and he wasn't any the wiser. Once the guy who was supposed to pick up the book came in, they actually had a little dialogue about it missing. That's cool.
I'm here for my book, Mankar Cameron's Commentaries, Volume 3.
Ah, about that. You see, I don't have it anymore. Terribly sorry. Full refund, of course.
You can be sure I won't be back. I've never been treated so shabbily in all my life. Good day, sir.
Time for the sewers. Now, normally there's no danger here because the enemies are super weak and Boris can one-shot them, but it still takes a while to walk through. At the end of this place, we have to meet up with a Mythic Dawn recruiter, but I'm kind of worried that because I'm invisible, I won't be able to get him to show up. Then again, sitting in a chair at the table might be all it requires to get him to enter the room, then I could just steal what I need from him. I'll give it a try. But while we travel through the sewers, now's a great time to tell you about this video's sponsor, Chimera. Since we're cheating like crazy in this challenge run, I'm gonna teach you the cheat code to everlasting comfort and clothes. It's the combo of the plain tees and the joggers over at Chimera. Chimera are responsible for making literally the most comfortable t-shirts that I own, as well as the most comfortable sweatpants that I own. So if it's what I equip myself with around the house, then I think I can vouch for it. It's the perfect blend of being comfortable enough that it feels comfy for lounging around the house and is still totally normal to wear outside. So if you want to support the channel and look good while doing it, then hit up the link in the description to go to Chimera and pick up something comfortable and breezy to wear this spring. If you're gonna go pick something up, then make sure to use the promo code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout to get 10% off your order, and to let them know that I sent you. Okay, so the meeting with the sponsor didn't go how I expected at all. He came in when I sat in the chair, but he actually knew where I was and kept talking to me. Kind of. He was upset that I wasn't still sitting in the chair, but didn't realize that I ran right into his base. When they found Boris and started fighting him, I just let them take him out while I pickpocketed the book from the guy we needed and left. Look, we do almost no damage at all right now. I couldn't have saved the guy even if I wanted to. And I didn't want to. Next, I have to check this tomb in the Imperial City between 11:48 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to get the location for the Mythic Dawn base. When I got here, it was only a few minutes before. That's perfect. Hey, you ready for the "then you've come here to die" guy?
Then you have come here to die.
Ah, it's just like the good old days of my first ever Oblivion challenge. You remember those days? Good times. I'm happy I started making these videos. They're really fun. So the first thing I did when I walked in was beat up some of the guards in the opening hallway just to see what would happen. Most of them didn't react and went down quickly, but interestingly enough, I have an option to talk to them. If I do, they go into combat mode without talking and summon their armor. Real weird. Next, I ran into the ceremony room and just went straight for the hostage and the book to see what would happen. Then I attacked Mankar before he left. Mankar kind of panicked and ran around casting spells, so I followed him and kept swinging, but he very quickly stopped taking any damage and then just kinda faded out of existence. Usually, he summons a portal to walk into. I don't think we're supposed to see him fade out like that. Once he's gone, the enemies here don't really know what to do. Half them stay and have their weapons out, while the other half just kind of wander away to do their daily routines despite what just happened. It was really weird. Nothing else here to do though. Hey, how do you think the spy's quest will go? So this started weird. I didn't see the spy, but it said that I can't rest with enemies around, so I hunted for a bit. She showed up, I tried to talk to her, and she just armored up, so I took her out. I started looking out for the other spies when I stumbled into this. Now, I promise you, I didn't do anything to cause this, but these two guards from the nearby city are having an archery duel. Now, I saw a dead deer earlier with an arrow in it, and I know guards will shoot at deer. So what I think happened here is one of these guys went to shoot a deer, hit the other guard, and then they decided that this hunting accident is worthy of a battle to the death. Eventually, the guard on the left won the fight, decided to shoot another deer, and then went back to his patrol like there's nothing to report. Amazing. I wonder if he's gonna get a visit from the Dark Brotherhood. Hey look, I found another spy. What are you doing sneaking around? Who are you hiding from in this random field? I feel like I've never seen the sneaking animation from this angle before. It's kind of hilarious. Oh my god, is this what we've been looking like when we sneak around? Man, our player characters have been hobbling around like goblins for years. Would you look at that neck posture? My neck hurts just looking at it. Literally. Alright, that's enough of that. Hey, get back here! I can't believe she ran away. I fought tons of enemies at this point. I've never had one start running away. And she's good at it too. It took a while to actually take her down, but when I did, the game gives me the most hilarious mixed messages, as at the same time it tells me that I completed this part of the quest by killing the spy, and also that my killing was observed by an unknown force, meaning I killed an innocent in cold blood. I guess I'm gonna get a visit from the Dark Brotherhood now.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
Alright, so I slept in a bed, and the Dark Brotherhood visited me to tell me to go kill a guy called Rufio at some remote inn to get accepted into the Dark Brotherhood. So I do, then I sleep in the same bed that the body is still in, and they let me join. So I go to the headquarters. So yeah, I started attacking right away just to see what would happen. No one cares, but it looks like they're plot important characters, so we can't actually kill them, at least not till later in the quest line. So next I started stealing and... Hey! Whoa, I've never seen that happen before. Well, that's new. Usually when I pickpocket, they don't do anything about it, but they actually kicked me out. That's a new one. Guess it's back to the main quest. Next is the Daedric Artifact quest, so you know I had to go do the Vampire Cave. Finally, revenge for all the times these guys turned invisible and ganged up on me. Yet again, the enemies in here all have totally different reactions to most enemies I run into. It's crazy how many different ways enemies react to invisible opponents in this game. The vampires just keep talking as if they've lost sight of me.
Damn rats. Damn rats. Always damn.
You know, I've noticed that pretty much this whole run, I've been dealing almost no damage. Like, I know I'm not using great weapons and my melee skills are all reasonably low, but this is really low damage considering we're still a low level and these are low level enemies. To the point that I had to double check my difficulty settings, and yeah, we're still on the default normal difficulty. That's what I do challenges on. On the more armored targets, they could actually regenerate magic and use healing spells faster than I could hurt them. So I had to switch to my starting flare spell. They're weak against fire, so it was just enough to clear the place out. So the Bruma Gate was next, and it went about as well as it usually does. Except there was one weird oddity. At the start, the captain and his guards didn't follow me until I started talking to them and specifically told them to follow me. I don't think I usually have to do that in my runs, but I could be misremembering. Other than that, there's nothing interesting here. Turns out the captain just teleports to you anytime you go through a door, so you can just sprint through this whole place. Okay, so I'm traveling to Sancretor now. It's the ghost dungeon where you have to get some old armor to progress the main story quest. is not super far from the end of the main story, though. We have this dungeon, then Mah-Dry-Bread, where we fight the goblins, zombies, and some kind of lich. Then we have the defense of Bruma, the Great Gate, and lastly, Paradise and the Siege of the Imperial City. It might sound like a lot, but honestly, I could sprint through most of that in like an hour. I feel like at this point, my big questions are just how possible things are gonna be when we get to Mankar. Will our damage output be so low that we can't take him out? Will he fight back at all? Will Dagon at the end of the game even attack us if we stand in front of him? Can we fight him at all? My questions are about the end of the game, but I'm sure that there's more that we could test on our way, so I sent out a tweet to ask people for ideas on what we should try. Once I get a little bit farther and I get to the portal to Paradise, I'm gonna go back and check that tweet to see what people suggest, and then we'll try out a bunch of stuff. That should be fun. Let's go to Sancretor. So the dungeon itself was really standard, just clear the place out of skeletons. Yet again though, they react a new way. When I hurt them, they lock onto me and walk towards me, but the moment they're in melee range, they go idle and let me finish them off. They know where I am, but they just won't swing. Super weird. Next up, we're in Mah-Dry-Bread, that crypt full of goblins and zombies. To be totally honest, the place kind of creeps me out. Part of it is the great atmospheric sounds of the crypt mixed with how the zombies in this game genuinely look creepy when they come out of nowhere. I still get a little lost here from time to time, but I've done quite a few runs of this game, so it's not too bad anymore. I came prepared for fun though. See, I already saw one of the tweet requests ahead of time, and it was a fun one. Concerned Citizen said that I should make a touch spell with 1 shock damage and the largest range we can have. So basically, it would be a spell where if I cast it on melee range on someone, everybody else in a wide range will get a small shock, either than us. That sounds like it would start a riot in the middle of a dungeon full of goblins and zombies, wouldn't it? Well, that kinda worked. It was weird. Every time I'd use it on an enemy, everyone else in the enemy would get super aggressive again and seek for an opponent, but even with an area of 100, it didn't quite hit the whole room. Not quite as great as an area-wide frenzy spell, but I bet this would be really fun to go in and use in a small building like a guild hall. Hey, maybe you gotta go try that out. It's a really cheap and easy spell to go make. Anyway, the boss fight here was weird. The Lich shows up with his 2 zombies like usual, and they seem to home in and always know where we are, but again, they stop right in front of us. It's not quite like the skeletons in Sancretor though. Sometimes these zombies would actually get really close to us. I even reflexively backed up once thinking he was about to do a melee attack, but they never went for one. Took forever to take down the Lich though, since he could reflect magic, so I had to punch. Hey, is that gonna be an issue when I get to Mankar Cameron? He can reflect magic too, and he can heal himself. Can he heal faster than we can punch him down? Ooh, probably. So I went into a guild hall to give our new spell a try, and as soon as I used it, everyone just started casting random spells and running all over the place. Oh, this is gonna be fun, isn't it?
Morning.
Alright, next is the defense of Bruma and the Great Gate. This is all basically free though. They can handle this fight on their own, and the gate itself is just a slightly larger version of the other ones, but with a time limit. There's no threat, and nothing really special happens here, but we're just about to get into the fun part. We have the gate to Paradise open, and you know what that means. Let's go check back in on that tweet and see what ideas people have for us. So right away, a few people asked to see what would happen if I rode a horse. Alright, I'm gonna go steal one. No one tries to stop us or yells about a thief or anything. Basically looks like we're just playing as a horse. No, I don't know who this guy is or why he's running away. I guess this horse just jumped out of the stable on his own and he's a little freaked out. Now, a lot of the tweets were for things I've already done, but this one by Concerned Citizen has all kinds of ideas. Now, I don't know if I have the magic or the money for some of the spells required for this, But I don't think anyone would care if I just used the console to get it, since, like, is this even a real challenge? Like, it's just for fun, right? Let's try a few of these. First is using a super high damage fatigue spell. This one is hilarious, I love it. It takes a few seconds to really kick in because it's over time, but what happens is it does so much damage to their fatigue that they just collapse and ragdoll for entire minutes. Nobody seems to think that a fight is going on though, is really weird. Patrolling guards will just walk over the bodies of knocked out people, like it's some kind of paralysis spell, but way stronger. Normally, you'd need to cast a ton of fortification spells to get your magicka high enough to even cast this, but thankfully we have console commands, so I can just give myself tons of magicka and cast these insane spells easily so that we can goof around. I also tried a powerful disintegrate armor and disintegrate weapon custom spell on guards, but it didn't do anything obvious. No one really panicked and our punches still did next to nothing, so that one was kind of a dud. Area Frenzy was a fun one though. Not 100% sure how this works, but it seems like everyone gets more aggressive. Some NPCs react by starting a fight, and some just run away. Seems like the guards won't fight with each other though. They're all part of the same faction, so they gang up on other people instead. I tried mixing that with the Area Shock spell to see if doing damage while everybody's in a frenzy would make them more aggressive, but I don't think it did. It just made all the bodies jump around. Well, those were some fun experiments. I guess I should go get into Paradise though, right? Feel like I should be telling you to make some guesses on if I can win or not, but like, we're invisible. I think we'll be fine. Leave a comment about something else, I guess. Talk about, your favorite Oblivion spell. Yeah. Do that. Okay, first is the garden. First thing I notice is that this NPC who's normally running away from a monster at the start is just standing around. That's such a weird little thing to not have triggered just due to being invisible. I can't explain that one. The boss of this area still walks up to us and talks to us, but if I choose battle, he just stands there with his weapon out. Took ages to take the guy out. Maybe I should have invested in a real damaging spell at some point. The grotto was standard up until we met our cultist buddy, who always wants to help us out. I walk into the cage to see if we still have to do that thing where he tricks a guard into believing that he's dunking a prisoner in lava, and yeah, they actually do the cutscene despite neither of them being able to see us. I ended up jumping across the gap and, why did he fight the guards? I've never seen that happen. That doesn't normally happen, right? He's not aggroed on the guards? Oh, whatever. He can just revive, so I guess it doesn't matter. The moment I entered the next section of the grotto, he was already there ahead of us and just follows us for the rest of the area, so I ran ahead. This is the last path before the battle with Mankar Cameron. I'm honestly kind of pumped. I'm gonna have some fun in there. I want to see if we can get the cultist to do the whole fight for us while we're an invisible ghost helping him out. Wish him luck. Okay, so I ran in there, hit damage fatigue on the twins, then hit Mankar with it a couple times, just for him to reflect the spell back on us, so I got knocked out for an actual real-life 4 minutes. Well, guess I should have seen that coming. Once I was finally back up, I just did it again, this time managing to knock Mankar out since his spell reflect doesn't always kick in. That's when our buddy shows up to save the day.
He was here a second ago.
Dagon will want you again.
Your
My vision will yet be realized. Fate chose you well. Fate chose you well.
Now, I promise you, I'm not editing in the voice lines. The music is all mine, but they're actually talking trash. Yes, even Mankar, the unconscious man, is talking trash.
What's the matter? Getting tired?
Oh, would you look at that? He tuckered himself out.
your worst. Do your worst. Show me what you've got.
Dagon
For
will walk
Tamriel.
Dagon will walk Tamriel.
This ends here.
Fate chose you. My vision will yet be.
Your
My vision.
Death to Lord Dagon's victory is at hand, fool.
Last is the siege of the Imperial City. Our goal is to escort Sean Bean to the temple. Really, they do all the fighting for us here normally, so I just run around and use damage fatigue to make them faint to see how different the battle goes. The first section went the same. Well, I wasn't thinking that the same. How did this happen again? And nothing of value was lost. Okay, the last fun thing I needed to try. What happens if I run up to Mehrunes Dagon? At first it doesn't really react to us, but once I cast the damage fatigue spell on him and punched his leg, he started stomping. I thought the spell just didn't do anything, until, well, you're not ready for this. Mehrunes Dagon melted. I don't know what else to say. I guess they never anticipated that he'd ever run out of stamina and have to ragdoll, so this is what happens. I stuck around for a few minutes, but I never saw him get back up. He probably would have if I waited a really long time. I mean, I think he would have. I can't believe my comic relief spell just melted the most dangerous enemy in the game. Man, that was awesome. I was kind of nervous about making this video because I was worried that it would be super boring because there's no danger, but once again, Oblivion is the gift that keeps on giving. Every playthrough, without fail, something hilarious will happen. Oblivion is both unintentionally hilarious and really fun to play. It's perfect for making goofy, fun videos like this. I think I have a run next week. I'm pretty sure I have a run next week. I was gonna do admin week next week where I catch up on administrative stuff, but I ended up doing that last week, so I don't know what the upload schedule is anymore. I'll figure it out. There's probably a challenge next week. Ask me on Twitter. Right, I should explain what admin week is. Yeah, so to help me keep up with my work while I'm recovering from all of my neck stuff, I'm gonna be taking like a week off every 2 or 3 months to try and catch up on administrative stuff. I mean, it's not a week off, it's a week where I'm doing nonstop admin work and rehab on my neck, but you know, it's not the same as playing challenges all day. Anyway, this channel is all run by me, so I've gotta literally get everything related to it done on my own. I don't have staff. Sometimes it takes a very long time, and I can only sit for so long because of my neck. Don't worry though, I'll be back with another Pokemon challenge before you know it. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Alright, ad-lib outro time thing. That challenge was super fun. I'm really pumped to edit it. In fact, okay, you know Oblivion runs are good because I get so pumped to edit the gags while I'm like recording the game that sometimes I won't even be done recording the run yet. The moment I finish recording a funny bit of footage and I realize I can make a funny editing gag, I'll just put down everything and bring it into my editing software, Adobe Premiere, and just start making the gag early. And oh man, I have so much gag material. I've already made half of them by the time I'm doing this voiceover. I have another half of the gags to make, and I'm so excited to get working on that. So I think I'm just gonna go get started on that. Oblivion really is the gift that keeps on giving. Every time I've ever done an Oblivion run and I had a moment where I'm like, oh man, is this not challenging enough? Is this gonna be boring? No, doesn't matter. The game will do something hilarious. You can play the game as intended as possible, and something hilarious will happen every single time you turn the game on. I absolutely love Elder Scrolls Oblivion. It's so fun, and it's also so funny. Okay, I really do need to go get editing though, and I need to make some breakfast, because I should be responsible and eat. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.